Again. The Brown. Just when I thought it was bad enough with the Browns injuries, you're telling me that they had to put more guys on IR after our show yesterday? Grant Delpit? Hey, there's a positive to be had there, Ryan. They uttered the words, could be back for the playoffs with Grant Delpit. That's a statement that you don't hear a lot in Berea. But the Browns... I guess I made the mistake of mentioning God in a tweet yesterday because I asked, what football God did we upset? Everybody says it's Deshaun Watson's fault. That's karma coming back. That's neither here nor there. But the Browns cancel practice. I don't want any more on the field work. We can ill afford yet another injury. It's gotten worse for the Cleveland Browns. But yet, somehow, they're going to have to find a way to piece it together, not just for this Sunday against the Chicago Bears, but piece it together for the rest of the season. Is there a safety version of Joe Flacco out there? We'll find it. Is Duron Harmon kind of like Joe Flacco? Can he just come in and play to a high level of safety? Browns injuries are certainly mounting up. We got to talk about that. A massive game for the Cavs tonight against the Boston Celtics. We will get to our typical boost tonight as the Cavs are back in the TD Garden to take on the Celtics tonight. We got timeout. We got our 2 for 2. Well, not 2 for Tuesday. We got timeout. We got the morning update. And I hope Raj and Troy Vincent are listening because I'm going to fix the NFL officiating. A fight again in the NBA last night over a game ball. We got it all. Thursday Night Football. Let's kick things off right here on Big Play. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am Matt Fontana. He is Ryan Tyler. Good morning. A crisp morning here on the North Coast, but we got a lot coming up here on a Thursday edition of the show. Appreciate you joining us this morning. We'll get to a lot of Browns. We heard from Flacco. We heard from Stefanski. Interesting comments from the NFL, specifically Troy Vincent, who is the vice president of football operations and, dare I say, maybe even the future commissioner of the NFL. We'll get to that coming up on the officiating. Cavs tonight, really, I got a lot of focus on this game tonight. There's a lot of things getting thrown around. Doc Rivers basically calling the Cavs soft this week. Have they done anything to prove that wrong? You're going to be without Evan Mobley again tonight in a game that I'm not going to say is a must win, but I really need the Cavs to go ahead and pull this one off tonight. We'll get to that. A bit of a dud of a Thursday night game. There was a world that the Raiders-Chargers was going to be a good game. It's not. Brandon Staley coaching for his job tonight. No Justin Herbert. We'll get to our Thursday night boost with Tipico. And as I mentioned, the bracket, hot and heavy at Matt Fontana Show for your favorite appetizer. And we'll get to the morning update as well with that Giannis fight in the NBA last night. So, Grant Delpit, done for the year. You know, Mo Hurst, surgery. Delpit, surgery. We knew about DeJuan Jones. We knew about Jed Wills. I mean, it's incredible. And I started the show with the same thing yesterday, that this injury streak that the Browns have been on, I don't think I've ever seen something like this. And we'll hear from Joe Flacco because Flacco's played a lot of football. He spent a lot of his career with Baltimore and New York and now in Cleveland. I mean, he's seen a lot, man. And even he said, I don't think I've ever seen a team this injured but still be in the hunt. With all the injuries that the Browns have faced, they should be like 4-10 at this point. You know what I mean? Like, that's how bad, that's how hard it's been for the Browns. And I think my fear when it comes to where the Browns' injuries are at, because you can't guard against them. I got a tweet yesterday about firing the strength and conditioning coach, Ryan. That has, trust me, that has nothing to do with it.
Is that on the same level, Matt, of saying that us in the media affects
it's
how
our
they
fault.
Play on the field?
It's our fault. It is.
You gotta love that comparison.
Myles Garrett is one of the most jacked human beings, and he's battling a shoulder injury. Something's telling me it has nothing to do with strength and conditioning. Can you condition ligaments? Can you condition bone? Actually, you can condition bones. You ever see MMA fighters? You know what they do to their shins?
Don't they just like kick trees and stuff?
Well, and then they got these like rods. They just take this stick and they rub it up and down their shins until they bleed. You know what they're doing?
They're like, yeah.
They're microfracturing their shin bone so it heals and calcifies harder. Do not Google Anderson Silva leg kick. Don't do it.
Oh, I've seen it.
Yeah, have you seen it?
Mhm.
It's bad. Really bad. And it's happened in the MMA world before. But maybe the Brown get some of these MMA jiu-jitsu guys in there. Start callousing some bones in there in Berea. I'm almost at a point they should, no joke, like think about canceling practices. They should not be out on the field. DeJuan Jones tore his knee up in practice. And the Browns are at a point where they can ill afford any more injuries. Put these guys in bubble wrap for the rest of the season. And I think my overarching kind of fear is that eventually this is going to run out. I give a lot of credit to Kevin Stefanski. I give a lot of credit to the players for persevering through an extremely challenging season. Eventually, you are going to run out of bodies. Eventually, these injuries will catch up to you, and you're going to be missing pieces. And you hope to get Denzel Ward back. That's a necessity this week. I mean, I know Denzel's trying, and it's an injury. What are you going to do? But they need Denzel back in the worst way. My fear on the Browns is eventually it's going to become too much, and they're not going to be able to overcome it. Because at this point, they have. At this point of the season, everything that's been thrown at them, they have found a way to soldier on. They have found a way to push through not having Nick Chubb. Does it look different? Is the production not near the same? Sure. But they found a way to make it work. They found a way to overcome your tackle situations. And one of them was, I'm not going to say DeJuan Jones was playing better than Jack Conklin would have been. I don't know that, but you found a guy to play to that level. Eventually, that's got to run out. Eventually, you're going to see these holes. Tell me that the Chicago Bears are not going to say, Cole Kmet, you're going to feed this week. They are down all of their safeties. We are going to attack the middle of the field. And there's a conversation to be had about changing expectations. Because you go into Sunday, the Browns are favored. I frankly think that line's going to change, if it hasn't already. Because I would imagine that a lot of money is going to start flowing in now on the Chicago Bears. And yeah, you still have Flacco. It's not like you lost another quarterback. God, please don't let him get hurt. But I'd imagine Sunday's going to be a really tough game. Sunday's going to be a tough game. And then you have 3 more to go, which are not going to be easy. And I think about what other teams are going to do. They are going to sink in and say, Montez Sweat, you got backup tackles out there. You better get after it. Cole Kmet, better get after it here. And the Browns have done such an amazing job of overcoming all of this. But I just have this fear, Ryan, that it's even too much. That this might even be too much. Now, I can't do that right now. I can't do that right now because we still have football to play and you still have games you got to win. But I'm almost at a point that I cannot be upset whatever happens to this team. I still believe they're going to make the playoffs. We've discussed winning a playoff game. But I will tell you this, and I want it on the record now on the 14th of December, that if it comes crashing down, you're not going to hear me complain about it. You're not. Because I'm just going to throw my hands up and say, what did you want him to do? That's a tough way to play. That is. But at this point, are they playing with house money? Is this the situation with whatever, all the things that have gone on with this team? You just chalk it up to the injuries. And it's one after another and after another and after another. And do you want to know the crappiest thing that I'm about to say, Ryan? And it's true. You're not done getting hurt. You still got 4 games to go, pal. There's plenty more injuries that could happen. That could happen. I hope they don't. But you're not out of the woods on this thing yet. And the issue, these guys aren't coming back. Yeah, Grant Delpit might come back for the playoffs. Great. You're not getting any of these guys back anytime soon. Anytime soon. And this team has somehow kept it together. We'll post our Twitter question this morning at Fontana Show. Is this the most injured season you've ever seen from the Cleveland Browns? Is this the most injured season that you have ever seen? People out there of different varying ages of how long they've been watching the Browns and all that. Is this the most injured season you've ever seen? Without a doubt, for me, it is. For impactful injuries, for starters, for all that kind of stuff. And they just keep soldiering on. They just keep pushing forward. That is the incredible thing, that they have kept it on the rails at this point of the season. But How much is too much? How many more can they really handle and sustain and be able to play competitive football? I'm not asking them just to go out there and roll the footballs out and play for a draft pick. You got to win to make the playoffs. Your playoff position is not cinched. Far from it. I click on the articles this morning about teams that can clinch playoff spots. You are not in that by any stretch of the imagination because you got a wolf pack behind you of teams trying to get up to that spot. You put yourself in a good position. You have that 1-game buffer that could go away in a week. In a week. You fall to the Bears and all these other games play out the way that you don't want them to, you're going to be in a world of hurt. You're going to be in a lot of trouble. That's a tough way to go. And especially the mental side of it for the Cleveland Browns. The rest of those guys in the locker room have to be waking up again going, another one? Another guy goes down. It's defeatist is what it is. And it's tough. But I hope the Browns can handle this. As bad as it looks, you still have key guys at key positions. You still have some of your best players out there. And you're going to ask to play a different brand of football. I think it's another credit to this team. They have had to find a different brand of football to play. And it's worked out thus far. But Ryan, dude, I have this real fear that eventually this stuff's going to catch up to us. I do. I have a real fear that a lot of these injuries are going to get exposed and the Browns are going to get caught up in this. And you're going to have to deal with backups at multiple positions, which you've done. The other question I was going to ask, too, of the most recent injuries, which one do you think is the most impactful? Because you can make the case for DeJuan Jones. You can make the case for Grant Delpit. I keep circling back to DeJuan Jones, and I don't know why. I don't know why. And that's hard because Juan Thornhill is injured. You've lost Rodney McLeod for the year. I could say it would be Grant Delpit, which what a week he's had. Sign a deal, second deal in the NFL, get well paid, and by the way, you're going to go have surgery on your groin. You're out for the next 4 weeks. Quite a week there for Grant Delpit. But I don't know why the DeJuan Jones one that just keeps standing out to me. Like I saw them play well and figure it out when he was in. I have a real fear. I have a real fear that Joe Flacco is going to be not even running for his life because he can't. That is going to drastically change the offense. Of all the recent injuries, Ryan, which one do you think stands above the rest?
I would probably say DeJuan Jones as well, honestly, just in the sense of it's a guy who already filled in for a guy that was previously injured. And I think it's because he filled that expectation and that role so well and blew our expectations out of the water. So I think maybe that's why that's what's sticking with you. I mean, yeah, the Grant Delpit injury sucks. I'm trying to think of what else. Like, obviously, I feel like it's between Delpit.
Yeah,
and
I mean, like,
Jones.
it sucks that you lost Mo Hurst, but you're
Right.
going to find a way to kind of overcome that. I can't even think, like, Obo Okoronkwo.
Yeah, that sucks.
That sucks. Like, I feel bad about that. I could make some negative statement about, like, what was he really doing when he was out there? That's a shot. That's not fair. But...
And then I think also in terms of like somebody like Juan Thornhill, we've already seen an extended amount of games with him absent.
Again, another unfortunate reality that we live in. Absolutely.
So I would agree with you in the sense of DeJuan Jones.
Yeah, and the thing is, about the other teams, right? The other teams are going to be the ones to focus on this. What is your job as a coach to find the weaknesses of the team that you're playing and exploit them? And the Browns have a litany of them. They have a lot that are starting to stack up right now. Let's hear from Kevin Stefanski. So obviously, this is not a job. This is a really tough job. And it was interesting. He was asked about the COVID year. And he talked about that battle. Because that was a year that every week, right? Famously, you had to go to a game without Baker and without Jarvis Landry, and Bitonio then missed a game, and you won that playoff game without Stefanski. The difference was it was almost an even playing field because everybody had to deal with COVID. And everybody had guys that on a week would test positive and then they couldn't play. That is different. And they got through that just fine. This is one that you've got. I mean, you could look at the numbers. Ryan, we did it yesterday, right? And you could say, well, the Carolina Panthers, they have the most injured reserve players. Look at the Carolina Panthers, right? Like, find me a legitimate playoff contending team that has dealt with the Browns have had to deal with. Oh, boo-hoo. The Jags don't have Christian Kirk. Oh, my God, right? The Dolphins lost their starting center, Crimea River. Nothing like this, man. Nothing like this. And it's changed my outlook so much, where I will always want the Browns to win. I'm a diehard fan through and through, and I always will be. So I want them to go out there and win these games. But if they don't, I understand. There were years that I would not accept that. And if you think if it's me fanning scared or defeatist, like, that'll be conversations for after the year. Like, right now, it is solely focused on getting ready for the Bears and getting ready to win a couple of these games on the way out. But the whole season has shifted for me. I feel defeated. Seriously. And I sit here and do this. I'm not in that building. I'm not a coach that has my job on the line. I don't say job on the line. I think Stefanski's fine. But I'm not a player that's got to go out there and play on Sunday and say, I sit here as a fan and I just feel so down. And the thing is, we're still in the hunt. You know, to our question yesterday, is this impacting the joy that you're having for this season? And without a doubt, it is. Without a doubt, it is. And I hate it. I don't want it to be that way. I wish I could just turn this and push this off to the side. And I'd love to grab onto, look what we've done and look what we've been able to accomplish. I will feel that when we clinch a playoff spot. Because I'm not going to lie, I'm starting to think of all the doomsday scenarios that we don't. And by every passing moment, Ryan, I just ask, how much is too much? When is the levee going to break? Great Zeppelin song. When is it going to be you can't hold it off anymore? There's only so much you can do as a team, as a scheme, as players, before eventually you got to go, we don't got anybody. We don't have anybody. This isn't on Andrew Berry. It's just the most snake-bitten luck that I think I've ever seen with this team. Kevin Stefanski doesn't want to hear that, though. Let's hear from Coach from yesterday. So obviously a very tough situation that he is in. First question up, Coach, all these injuries, but he said, we don't really get hung up on it.
Of course, my Bluetooth disconnected. One quick second.
Just hold your phone up to the mic. I'm just kidding.
We don't get hung up on it. Just focus on the job that we have in front of us, and it's finding a way to get a victory versus a Chicago Bears team that's 3-1 in their last 4.
All right. Yeah. Can you get it connected for the next one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ryan literally just took his phone and just goes like this. Just hold it up. Sorry. Well done. I mean, that's got to be the tact of the coach. That the coach, when everybody is looking, you need that leader to step up and say, guys, we're not going to cry about this. We're not going to fight this. This is what it is. Opportunities for guys to play, and we'll figure it out. Then coach was asked, it was a follow-up too from Jake Trotter that you're here. But basically, do you feel like these challenges are building up the resiliency of your team? Here's Coach Stefanski from yesterday.
No, I mean, it's not. We're not in the place in the season to even think about that. We got to find a way to get a win this week.
Appreciate the resilience.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and that's, we talked about it before, Jake. Just, you trust the leaders of the football team is really what it comes down to.
I wanted to play that because as much as we talk about Kevin Stefanski, and I'm remiss of doing this myself, we better start talking about Myles Garrett and Joel Bitonio and Amari Cooper, and I'm sure David Njoku, and maybe Zadarius Smith and Denzel, and the veterans on this team. Because I know that they are in there and they have kept this together as much as Stefanski and anybody else has. You take the reflection of your team is partly your coach, but it's also the leaders. You look at the Philadelphia Eagles, and they are Lane Johnson and Jason Kelsey and Darius Slay. You look at all the built teams around the NFL, and you can point to a select group of players and say, that is where the team gets their motivation, their grit, their toughness, who they are. With this team, we have to start giving credit to some of these players. The Wyatt Tellers of the world, even some guys that aren't the most veteran players. You got to look at them, and if they were in there saying, woe is us and we're screwed, then you wouldn't be where you're at. So to hear him say that, it's a nice reminder that these players are a part of this as much as anything of keeping it all together. Let's go to Joe Flacco, because I think Flacco, as Myles Garrett has said, has provided a little stability, has provided that calming force to this team when they need it the most. First up, Joe Flacco, have you ever been on a team that has been this injured, Joe?
Probably been part of seasons where we've been injured like this. I don't know if anywhere we're still standing 8-5. So I think the fact that we've been able to go out there, these guys have been able to go out there and still put it together a bunch of wins has definitely helped the mindset in terms of that. Obviously, if it was the other way, you wouldn't be feeling as good. But I think going out there and winning cures a lot.
I don't know why, and he's right, but you know what I thought of in that, Ryan, listening to that? And I'm not nearly as good as the memes as, like, Reflog. You know, they're like, he's got to have somebody work. Does Padone do all that for him?
No, he does it himself.
Really?
Yeah.
Because he's, like, quick. That
He's very
advent
quick,
calendar
yeah.
was quick. You know what I need? I need the Randy Marsh meme. I ain't heard no bell yet. He's
I know what you're talking about.
That's what I thought of when he said, because we're still standing. And I think about Randy Marsh just standing there. I ain't hear no belly.
we can get that meme done for you.
Please put that out from our show.
I will.
Yeah, can you get that done?
Yeah.
I know nothing of graphic design. I use a meme generator. I sent an Oprah meme out yesterday. Did you see that?
Yeah.
You get a season-ending injury, and you get a season-ending injury, and you get a season-ending injury. Everybody gets one. The best I got. There's a website I use. I am base level. I'm toddler level when it comes to the memes. But literally, who should we put on the Randy Marsh?
It's got to be what?
Stefanski.
I was gonna say it can't be Flacco because he hasn't been there the whole
it's
time.
got to be Stefanski.
I'll put Stefanski.
Do you want to put Brownie the Elf on it? Because that's like all encompassing of the team.
Yeah, we can do that.
Do that. Figure that out.
I'll work on it.
Get on that. Just Brownie the Elf. I ain't heard no bell yet. Just getting kicked out. Seriously. I feel like it's like a boxing analogy where, yeah, you got 17 rounds, man, for the title. And you've won some rounds, but you don't look pretty doing it. You ever see those videos or those pictures of some of the people after the slap fights?
Yeah.
And their whole face is swollen. You know, I interviewed a guy on my last stop from the slap league. He's from Cleveland.
Really?
King of Kings. Shout out to him. I can't remember his real name. Sorry. Ryan Phillips. Ryan, shout out to Ryan. I had him on. He's from Elyria. He's from Lorraine. And he's the King of Kings. And he's in the Power Slap League. Or the bare knuckle boxing guy. And they get done. And you see the before and after. And a lot of times it's the women. Like, you know, they get in there and they're all fine. And they come out and they're cut and they're bloody and they're That's what I feel like with the Browns. And you got 4 rounds to go. You got 4 rounds to go to try to get this done. And I ain't hear no bell yet. Browns need a bell, man. They need some refs to step in on this. Really, with the Browns, other than that, I do want to fix the NFL officiating. Did we get a hold of Troy Vincent and Raj Goodell? I'm going to fix the officiating problem for him. Send this clip. We're going to send it to New York, give it to the NFL. I want to cut. Ryan and I want a little cut here for helping out officiating. We'll get to that in a second. Really, for the Browns yesterday, not much, other than that. I did want to play this, too, from Joe Flacco, though. He was asked a great question. Shout out to Cam Justice. About his relationship with Kevin Stefanski. So Flacco just got here, and here's Joe Flacco yesterday talking about his relationship with Kevin Stefanski.
Hold on, Matt.
Oh, I'm sorry. I know you were working on the meme probably, right? Were you?
Where'd it go?
Sorry.
No, you're good.
I'd rather have the meme done, to be honest with you, but that's okay.
No, I got it right here.
All right, there you go.
And I think he deserves a lot of credit, obviously, with the amount of variables that he's been dealing with this year. And for me and him, it's just obviously the more he gets a feel for, what we're good at while I'm back there, and the more we can talk in the meeting rooms. Obviously, the more I play, the more easily conversations come up. So you get a better feel for each other that way.
I mean, they're going to grow, and they're figuring it out. I liked how he said, giving Stefanski the credit that is just due there. But really, the relationship between those two has been on the fast track, and I think it's only going to get better. One of the positives that you can have as the Browns try to navigate the rest of the season is you're going to get that relationship to continue to grow. And as Flacco said, the more I can play, the better we're going to have an idea of what we can do on offense and what we need to do. So I did like hearing that yesterday from Flacco. At this point, Like, I'm afraid to click on any Browns news to see exactly what injuries might pop up. But really, the biggest thing for this weekend, Denzel Ward coming back. You're going to have to limit Cole Kmet, all that kind of stuff. So really, other than the injuries yesterday, status quo there for the Cleveland Browns. We'll get into the NFL coming up as well. We get our Thursday night football game tonight, which is just complete dud. But we'll get to that. We'll place our typical bets, and we want to talk Cavs as well. But I click on it this morning. So Roger Goodell is at the owners' meetings that are going on. And it's interesting that at this point, you have the height of the NFL officiating problem. You've got the Kansas City Chiefs thing that's certainly looming pretty hard, and just all the things that you've seen this year. And mistakes and calls here and calls there, and all of a sudden now after our playoff game a couple years ago, they're going to review, or not playoff. Yeah, it was playoff game. Review the ball going through the end zone as an offensive player and all that kind of stuff. But the officiating is certainly the lightning rod for the NFL right now. So Vice President of Football Operations Troy Vincent said, "We have to act responsibly when calls are missed because we want the game to be played on the field." I'm going to stop it right there. Does not seem that way. When you got officials that pop the mic on and they get their 30 seconds on national TV and they get to explain the call, and it seems like they're coming off like pompous a-holes because they're explaining things to us lay people on why a butt cheek was in bounds or not, they get their time. They want the game to be played on the field. That is not a statement that I think is factually correct in the NFL right now. The officials have inserted themselves in almost every single game this year. And I don't want it that way. I don't think the NFL wants it that way. And I know the players don't want it that way. So how do you fix it? Well, the NFL, of course, has this internal audit system. Every week they watch the games. They send out grades. We don't get to see them, and maybe that's part of the solution. That is not my solution, though, Ryan. And you start holding these refs accountable. Vincent said, "We're always looking to improve officiating. It's a constant work in progress. We're not perfect. The concern is to make sure we're getting better." Troy, you're not. It's getting worse. And when you come out with we're working on it, I don't accept that. As a fan, as somebody that wagers my hard-earned money on Tipico, Big Play 100, use that code when you get signed up. I wager my hard-earned money. I know I don't have to, but I do, on these games, and you are screwing it up. These officials in the football world are supposed to be the best at what they do. This is a multi-tens of billions of dollar operation. I expect the best. And my instant question would be, is it really that hard? Seriously. And I've never officiated anything. I've officiated some wrestling matches in Brunswick High School in the wrestling room, Ryan. That's about as far as I could go. I think I filled in a JV tournament one time. If you ever wrestled, you know how shady some JV tournaments can be. Refs don't show up. Coaches don't show up. So I've officiated some low-level wrestling matches in my day. And that's it. But is it really that hard to officiate a football game? Seriously. And I know that these are the biggest and fastest and strongest athletes in the world, and you don't see every play, but it cannot be that hard. It cannot be that hard. So when you have everybody screaming that your officiating is crap, and you come out with we're working on it. Nobody wants to hear that. You have got to fix this. And I know they're not going to do it in season, but here's the off-season thing. People go to the cameras, have the eye in the sky, and have all these camera angles. That is not even my solution. Are you ready, Ryan? This is what we're going to clip into the NFL. Good morning or good afternoon, whenever you're watching this. Roger Goodell and Troy Vincent. Matt Fontana here, Big Play. Ryan Tyler here as well. We're going to fix your officiating problem. And do you know what the answer is? A standard. You might be saying, well, wait a minute. We have a standard. No, you don't. No, you don't. Because the biggest problem with the NFL right now is you have a wide variance of what you accept as penalties. And maybe I'm focusing too much on defensive pass interference, illegal contact, and defensive holding. Because here is what the NFL needs to do. And I know they already do this, but they need to hammer this home. You sit down and you clip plays. And you create a standard on plays to say, this is not holding and this is. This is not defensive pass interference and this is. And you come up with 10 on each side, and then you go clockwork orange on these referees, and you hold their eyelids open while you're putting eyedroppers in there, and you make them watch it on a 48-hour loop. And you say, this is pass interference and this is not. And you do it over and 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 over again. If you want to play Rachmaninoff in the background or whatever the hell that was, you do that. That's fine too. You just do it over and over again until you have a standard of this is what it is and this is what it's not. Because what is screwing the NFL officiating is the officials are the ones that think they are able to interpret the plays. And you say, well, Matt, they're human beings. Of course they're the ones that interpret the plays. Take that out of it. And you tell Cleet Blakeman and Sean Hockley and whoever else, this is what it is. And you will make these calls. I don't care if you think it is or isn't. Does it match up what we showed you? Is this matching up what the NFL standard is? Because I will tell you, Ryan, they don't have the standard. And I'll tell you this too. You want to know what? I don't care about the Kadarius Toney play. I don't. You want to know why? He did check, but did not get confirmation. And if he can't look down and see that he was a yard, not a yard, but I mean, he was well offsides. That's on Kadarius Toney. I'm not concerned about that. I'm not a Chiefs fan, so I don't care. I'm talking about the in-games of the holding and the DPI and the illegal contact. That has become the festering problem in the NFL. There's always going to be holding. Yeah, false starts, moving the football, sure. I'm talking about the actual in-game penalties. I'm not talking procedural penalties. It's the watching of the game. And tell these referees, man, if you're not quick enough, if you're not on the uptick enough, then get the hell out. Get out. That's the other thing. They have some old refs, man. And I know that they got to have some sort of standard. They got to have, you got to be able to run up and down the field. Some of these guys, I'm like, wait a minute. Carl Cheffers or whatever. I think he just became an official, and I feel bad to single him out. Some of these guys, I go, really? The NFL's got a problem. And I frankly, I don't accept when they go, we're working on it. We're trying. It's not good enough. It's not good enough anymore. And there are games that certainly the Browns have been screwed or they've been helped, and, go back to that Colts game, I guess. So, I mean, if you want to say it all equals out, because that's something that I've said too. In games, there are some games that, goes your way. Even in games, one penalty goes your way, another goes. I guess it all kind of works out. The thing is that the NFL, a tens of billions of dollar industry, and I just don't think that they still have a standard. And the NFL, they tell, every offseason they send the message to the refs. And it's clear that this year was all that the defensive backs. That was the big message, I think. There was a year that holding was the big message, and you saw holding penalties skyrocket. This year was very clearly the defensive backfield and the holding and the illegal contact. And it's not always going to be fair because they want the offense to go make plays. What did Kevin Stefanski say yesterday? Kevin Stefanski said he talks to the refs every game about watching Myles Garrett because Myles Garrett gets held and he gets hands in his face and they never give any calls to him. It's insane. It is absolutely insane to see. And frankly, I'll call it for what it is, man. Just stop calling penalties. Seriously. And I'm not saying that there should be egregious things. God, who was the tight end? Oh, Hunter Henry. He was pushing off guys left and right in that one Patriots game, right? Left and right. Sure, there's offensive pass, like the blatant stuff. But I guess here's just swallow the whistle a little bit. I'm talking about in general. Let the guys play. Let them go. Okay, they held a little bit. So what? I would rather have less penalties than more. knowing that, yeah, that might screw the Browns, and that might truly hurt the Browns. But at this point, it's a real issue, and I don't know what they're going to do. I gave them their off. That is what you need to do. Create that standard and drill it home. And frankly, the message needs to be refs, swallow your whistle, get off the TV. That's what they need to tell some of these referees because they love being on TV. They love being able to stand there with their little whistle. And, we're over here. We're doing this. They just love their TV time, man. I don't know what to tell you. All right, let's see. How's the meme going? Good?
It's finished. I'll show you it. I'm definitely not reflog meme level.
That's fine.
But yeah, once we go to this break.
All right, go to break. Get that cinched up. All right, when we come back, we're going to do our Tipico boost. Do this. If anybody out there wants to join our boost, we're going to do a 3-leg boost tonight for the Cavs taking on the Boston Celtics. You can do player props. You can do over-unders, whatever you want. Send us your prop. We will place our 3-leg wager here on our boosted Tipico bet, and we got to talk some wine and gold. I'm not saying tonight's a must-win game, but it's pretty damn close. We'll talk about it. We'll get into it next. Fontana Show right here on Big Play. We'll take you up till 11 o'clock as you do every morning. Don't forget Chico coming up 12 to 2. We had Drennan last night. Great show. And then, of course, tomorrow, Big Play, Big Bets, and all of our shows all week long. Get it at Big Play. Bobby Carpenter, Anthony Schlegel, Blake and Greg Williams, Big Play Reflog Show, and, of course, Hanford Dixon, Josh and Maria Cribbs. We got it all. I think Josh's going to come on with us next week. Yeah. We'll have Josh on with us next week. Can't wait to talk to him. So it's all up. Big Play. Check us out on Twitter. We're on YouTube, Facebook, and, of course, streaming on Twitter, as well as I mentioned that already. All right, let's get to break. When we come back, Cavs and the meme, the Rainy Marsh. I ain't hearing no bell. Back after this. All right, tonight's a massive game for the Cavs. Welcome back. Fontana Show. He's Ryan Tyler. Meme's going to be going up here in a minute. I'm very excited to see it.
It's up there.
Good. I ain't hearing no bell yet. I ain't hear no bell. That's pretty much where we're at with the Browns. But of course, oh wait, let's drown our sorrows. Cavs will turn it around for us, right? Cavs, Boston, 9-point spread tonight. Let's get to our. We'll do our parlay here in a minute. We're gonna do a 3-leg parlay. I need something from the Cavs, man, and I don't know what it is. Doc Rivers on Bill Simmons. We called him soft. I'm about to make a really, really tough statement that I think is true. I think the Knicks broke us. I think that Knicks playoff series really broke the Cavs. And it's not to say that they can't get fixed. And I'm not saying that there's not a lot of basketball left to play and a long season. But I just watched this team and something's off. And yes, injuries. First thing, well, you don't have Evan Mobley and you had to miss Garland a little bit here and there. Okay, fine. They don't have it. Seriously, I think that is the biggest problem that I have with the Cavs right now. They just don't have it. And on night-to-night basis, how I've really been approaching this team, yeah, you get some nights that Donovan Mitchell shows up and you shoot a bunch of threes like you did against Boston, you get close, and they give you max effort, and they show up for some games. But, Ryan, they don't have it. What is it? You know what I'm talking about. They just don't have it. And I don't know how they find it. I don't know if that's a JB Bickerstaff problem, if that's a player's problem. But the biggest thing with the Cavs, they don't have it right now. And I want to believe that if they could get a win tonight and end Boston's home win streak, maybe capture a little of the magic that they did on Tuesday, sure. And tonight would be a massive win. The Cavs' signature wins, they have a couple. Well, I guess the Warriors aren't really who you thought they were. But, when they beat Orlando a couple of weeks ago, what's the game that I'm missing? Miami was a good one. Oh, they beat the Nuggets. Remember when we beat the Nuggets? That was a nice win. And I thought that might propel us into playing like how we're supposed to. It didn't. It lasted for a week, and now you're back to losing game. I just think with the Cavs, they're missing it. Like, they just don't have it right now. And I'm not saying that they have to at this point, but I need to show something. You need to show me something. Give me a little life. I feel like the Cavs are just on, I don't say life support because it's, right? Am I overblowing this? Like, am I crazy? I just really feel like the Cavs are missing something right now.
They don't got that dog in them.
Just something.
They lost Lamar Stevens. He was our dog.
Something.
He got the crowd fired up in the team.
I don't know, man.
We need another dog in us.
And I know basketball, you can't necessarily play that way. It's a more controlled type of game. What I'm saying is I don't know if the Cavs truly believe in themselves and who they are. And a game tonight, you have that possibility, I guess, I really feel like tonight's a must-win game. And you could chalk it up and be like, dude, you lost 2 games to Boston. They haven't lost at home yet. They're a really good team. But you got a 4-game stretch coming up that you should feel pretty good. That's a part of what I'm missing, is they don't play well against good teams. I really don't feel like they show up against the good teams. So to consider yourself a good team, you got to show up against the good teams. You can beat the hell out of the crap teams all you want. I think something's really wrong with the Cavs. I really do. And I'm not trying to be alarmist. There's metrics on, okay, their defense, dude, their offense at times is just abysmal. You got to pray to hit threes. You're not really consistent on doing that. There's some real issues with the wine and gold right now. All right, let's get to our Tipico boost for tonight. We're going to do 3 legs. Let me give you some trends here and just some things we try to formulate where we're at right now. So it's a 9-point spread. Over-under is 226, which is, by the way, what the over-under got in their last one. 226 is right on the average. If you added up the average scoring of both of these teams, you're at 227. So that's right on where it is. In the last the last 10 games, the Cavs are 7-3 against the spread. Boston is only 3-7. Cavs did cover, by the way, on Tuesday. Trends on this. Cavs are 4-1 against the spread their last 5 games against Boston. They are 4-1-1 against the spread their last 6 games on the road. The problem is that we are only 6-13 straight up in their last 19 games against Boston. The Cavs have only won 1 of their last 9 games at TD Garden. You flip it over for Boston. As I mentioned, they're struggling to cover. 3-8 against the spread in their last 11 games, but they're 5-1 straight up. They are, as we know, the streak at home. Here's the thing. The over has hit in the last 5 games between Boston and the Cavs. So let's head over to Tipico. Use that code BIGPLAY100 when you sign up. You deposit and bet $25. You get $100 in bonus bets. Ryan, let's jump into our 3-leg parlay. We'll post this on Tipico. They always boost it up for us. What are you feeling? Because my instant gut would say over again. But, like, the trend says over. Do you want to, you know what? You just want to take the Cavs plus 9.5? Do you think they got that fight in them again?
I would hope so, considering we're back at home now and they already lost 1 to them.
No, it's in Boston tonight.
Again?
Yeah, it's a back-to-back in Boston.
Oh,
it's a weird. It's that baseball series. They just stayed in Boston for the week.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No. It's at Boston tonight. It's at Boston tonight. Do you want to do some player props on this?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna start with a little bit of a safer leg to build this parlay out. So I'm gonna do Darius Garland 6+ assists. That's minus 180.
Okay,
that's minus 180.
Over 6.5.
It's 6 or more. So
yeah, 6 or more.
Yeah.
Wait, I have it at over. Oh, you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like an alternate one. Because I think his over/under is set at 6.5.
Oh, okay.
But I'm going down to just
I
he
see
just
it.
needs 6.
I see it. Okay, so 6 gets you. What about Donovan Mitchell? And this is a bit of a cop-out. 30-plus points, rebounds, and assists. Or do you want to go up to 35?
Points, rebounds, and assists.
Yep.
Well, it's up to you, Matt. I mean, how you feeling?
That's kind of my gut. So we have a 3-leg parlay. If we did Cavs plus 9.5, Darius Garland 6 assists, Donovan Mitchell 35 points, rebounds, and assists. That would be plus 245. You want to do something crazier than that?
What are you feeling?
I don't know. That's what I got to find out. I don't like doing stuff for the opponent. I don't like doing stuff for the Celtics. 3-pointers made? Do we feel like Strus is going to hit 4 tonight?
He'll either hit 5 or 0.
Yeah. Garland 3 threes. Put a lot on Darius Garland there. What about Jared Allen?
He's got to step up with Mobley gone, so.
All right, I'm just going to do 35 points. Here, I'm going to send this to you, okay? This is going to be our 3-leg parlay. Cavs plus 9.5. Darius Garland, 6 assists. Donovan Mitchell, 35 points, rebounds, and assists. There it is. So that comes out to plus 245. They will always boost that up, for us at Tipico. Yeah. I lost that tennis bet, by the way.
That's insane.
That I had a minus 800 live tennis bet, and it lost yesterday. I can't believe that. I literally cannot believe that. That is where we're at. But nonetheless, here we are. Can't hit anything right now. Back to the Browns. As we get ready for this weekend, and I think about where the mindset of the team is. Like, I'm going to talk Joe Flacco for a second. And when you bring in Joe Flacco, he's played to a level that I think most people are pretty happy about. That's kind of the same thing with a lot of these injuries. Do you worry, Ryan, that it's going to run out on Flacco at all? Is there a worry at all that we've seen the best that Joe Flacco has? Maybe the Bears have a little tape on him now. They understand what the Browns are trying to do with him. Or are you confident that Flacco continue to ascend and play better as the Browns quarterback?
I think there's certainly the possibility that the more comfortability he gets in the system, and like Joe Flacco said in that soundbite we played, the more he sees Joe Flacco play in this offense, the more the playbook opens up and he can scheme for Joe Flacco. So I think we could see him get better, but to be quite honest with you, I'm not sure we need him to be any much better than he was on Sunday against the Jaguars to keep winning and certainly at least get into the playoffs. I would say he could get a little bit better, sure, but I'll stay to that point of I don't even really need him to get that much better. Although it does suck because the more injuries you get, then the more better you need him to play to cover up for that, obviously. But I'm comfortable with how he's playing. But to answer your question, face value, yeah, I think he could get a little bit better.
I think he can too. And the thing is, what he does is more sustainable, in my opinion. with the accuracy, with him being able to throw, doing it with even down the receivers that you've been down the offensive players that you've been. Flacco, it's a little more impervious to everything else. Now, you need to catch the football. You got to be able to have guys make plays. But I think what Flacco does, he's going to put it on you, make a play. And the Browns almost, and I think we got some vibes of this a little bit in that Jacksonville game. They have got to turn these games into their game. Time control, ball control, and you know that this defense, that's a crappy thing, man. You were messing with the one good thing you had going. And I know there were games that the Browns defense got smoked, and then they came back in that Jacksonville game. But the issue is, and we're really kind of focusing on the Jags game. We're Flacco played better, in my opinion, in the Jags game than he did the Rams game. But that Jags game, don't forget, you needed 4 takeaways in that game, and you got 14 points off of those takeaways. I know we turned the football over too. But my issue is now, when I start looking at this defense, you're messing with positions, you're messing with players on that defense. Can you get that every single week? So what we're talking about is the base level with Joe Flacco. You got that with an outstanding defensive effort. And I don't know if I'm going to get that every week. I feel better about the offense continuing to kind of chug along here, even with 2 backup tackles in there. You got to find your way on that. But now you're messing with the defense on defensive line rotations, Okoronkwo. Now you're missing Grant Delpit in that secondary. I mean, that's a lot to throw at Jim Schwartz and make that change. I can't understate how big I think this Grant Delpit loss is. We talked about DeJuan Jones versus Grant Delpit and the bigger loss. And I agree with you that I think it's DeJuan Jones. Ryan, Grant Delpit, that changes a lot in that secondary. And you're going to turn to, again, an undrafted guy in Ronnie Hickman who's played well, D'Anthony Bell. You bring in Daron Harmon. Whew, that's a lot to put on Jim Schwartz, man. That's a lot. And that secondary with Denzel Ward not being there or not, I mean, I guess, dude, MJ Emerson, Greg Newsome, man, you are going to have to step up for this game. You are going to have yet another career week for those guys in that secondary. But Flacco, I mean, people want to jump on the 2. He's been in these situations before. He brings this calming presence. I think that only kind of gets you so far. Rubber's going to have to start hitting the road for this team. And they have continued to have to fight through these injuries. Let's update our Twitter question.
Holy crap, man.
It's
I was
impressive,
just
isn't
looking
it?
at it,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's impressive to see. We asked everybody, do you think this is the most injured Brown season you have ever seen? This is 97-3. 98-2. Browns horror. It seems like, however, it's definitely under a much bigger microscope due to the success of the season. Yeah, and I think that goes back to what Flacco talked about. Flacco said, I've been on teams that have been this injured. Now, the problem is we were never any good in those games, or in those seasons, excuse me, right? You could add up players and games missed. Those teams are crap, right? Sure, you're under the microscope because it's a big, but dude, I tell you, the body count for this team right now. Like, we've had years where you put 5 or 6 guys on IR. Is it now 12 for the Cleveland Browns? Is it now 12 guys on IR for the Cleveland Browns? See if I can add them all up. You want to do this? Okay. Do you have the list? Pull the list up, and I'm not going to look. Okay. Let me see if I can guess. You ready? Scroll all the way to the bottom. Is that it? Is that the list of the IR people? If you're on the roster.
Oh, no, this is just an injury report for next week.
Oh, no. See if you can find the injured list. Or injured reserve. Try that. Browns on injured reserve. Let me see if I can add them all up for you. You got it? Do this. Go to the Browns. I see Ryan's screen. I'm gonna look away because I don't want to spoil the guessing game here. Go to the Browns website. Go to the roster and then scroll all the way to the bottom, and they have the injured list down there at the bottom. Injury report, or I'm sorry, injured reserve. Gosh darn. All right, so scroll all the way. You should see practice squad, and then you should see injured. What's that one? Scroll up a little. What's that one?
That is practice squad, reserve non-football injury, reserve non-football. Oh, wait. Here we go.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to look away. Nick Chubb, Jack Conklin, Deshaun Watson. Mo Hurst, Grant Delpit, Jed Wills, DeJuan Jones, Obo Okoronkwo, Jacob Phillips. There's a curveball there for you. Oh, man. I got to 9.
I think you're missing 2.
2.
They don't have Obo listed on here yet.
Okay. All right. But there's 2 guys that
yeah.
I have not mentioned that are on that list.
Yes.
Michael Woods doesn't count because that was non-football injury.
Yeah, he's not.
Yeah.
I'm not
Okay.
counting. Did you say Rodney McLeod?
No, Rodney McLeod. Okay, good
So
call.
then there's 2 others.
Damn.
One of them you can get. The other dude I don't even know who this dude was, if I'm being honest with you.
Another guy. What position?
Wide receiver.
I don't know.
He got hurt early.
I don't know.
Jakeem Grant.
Oh yeah. You're right.
And then I'm gonna be honest with you, Matt. I don't even know who this dude is. He's a guard. Dawson
Deaton. He's a
Yeah.
draft pick. He tore his ACL.
Oh, okay.
I thought they released him.
It still says he's here.
I thought they released him. Anyway, but seriously, that list right there, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. All right, let's catch a break. We come back. We will get to our morning update. We got to talk about this fight between the Bucks and the Pacers. We got more Browns. Our Cavs boost going up at Tipico. No, for your Thursday Night Football. We'll get to our Thursday Night boost as well for Thursday Night Football. Keep it locked in. Fontana Show right here on Big Play. All of our bets, folks, placed right there on Tipico. Use that code BIGPLAY100 when you sign up. You can dive right in. That's exactly what we do. So we do our boost. They take that parlay, and they add a little bit. That's kind of where we're at. So you got tonight, 3 for the Raiders, Cavs Celtics, Timberwolves Mavericks is almost a pick'em game. Thunder Kings almost a pick'em game tonight. You got college basketball, which you know me, I'm staying the hell away from college basketball, just I'm so bad. For boost, even before our boost goes tonight, there are 4 different boosts just for the game tonight. Here's an interesting one. Plus 180 for any quarter to end scoreless between the Chargers and the Raiders. Any quarter for nobody to score points is only plus 180. I kind of like that one. Easton Stick, who gets the start, and Aiden O'Connell to record at least 1 interception each is plus 220. Kind of like that one.
You don't, or you do?
Oh, I do.
Oh, yeah, I like
that one a lot.
Yeah.
I like that one a lot. So here's how it goes. These boosts or these parlays, so like each of those guys that throw an interception, you just place that bet anywhere else, it's plus 165. You go to Tipico, they boost that up to plus 220. Get signed up, use that code BIGPLAY100. Deposit and bet $25 on anything you want, and you get that $100 bonus that you can use on our boosts, any of their boosts, any sport that you want. It's all in the Tipico app. Download it, use it today. Terms and conditions apply, and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER if you got a problem. All right, we'll get into the morning update. Lot to come. Stay with us. Fontana Show right here on Big Play. All right, we got a lot to get to this morning. We got this Bucks-Pacers debacle, Draymond's crying, all that kind of stuff. Let's get to it. We got the morning update. Ryan, take it away.
Well, Matt, got to be honest with you, I was a bit surprised when this notification came across the phone, but Draymond Green is being suspended indefinitely by the NBA, and this comes after striking Yusuf Nurkic in the face, and that was his third ejection already on the young season, and now he's going to be out for who knows how long.
I'm Googling right now. The most fined player in NBA history is Rasheed Wallace, which there's no way. He's only been fined $200,000. How can Draymond Green not be more than that? Now, like Ben Simmons got fined losing $19 million after he missed playoff games for holding out. But I don't understand. Like, okay, let me go with this. Most suspended player in NBA history. See, that's tough because, like, okay, Ron Artest got 86 games for the fight. You know, here's a list of people permanently banned. You know, O.J. Mayo is permanently banned from the NBA.
Why?
Smoking marijuana. Donald Sterling, which you get because he's a piece of crap. Is he still alive? I think he's dead. Nope, he's still alive. He still sucks. So, like, Robert Sarver was the team owner during the Suns' time. So, like, Ron Artest, Latrell Sprewell, Mark Stevens. Oh, yeah, Sprewell choked and punched his head coach, PJ Carlesimo. He got 68 games.
Nice.
But I'm talking about, like, overtime, right? So, you sit there and you talk about Draymond Green, and he's going to cry. Dude, you hauled off and tried to hurt somebody. And I said this yesterday. Why Steve Kerr doesn't sit down with Draymond Green, or the fact that Draymond can't figure this out on his own. Just go, bro, knock it the hell off. Like, we are not the same team anymore. Frankly, the Warriors stink. All you're doing is costing yourself money. Why are you doing this? And the NBA dropped behind he's a repeated offender, right? Repeated history is what they cited. Sure. How long do you think he should be suspended? This is an indefinite suspension. Are you talking 20 games? Are you talking the rest of the season? What is going to get through this guy? I don't understand. It was a novelty when the Warriors were good and Draymond was a big part of it. He's got to stop this. There's no way that guy should be able to play basketball doing what he does. And the thing is, he's got powerful people behind him. You know who his agent is? Rich Paul. And Rich Paul is a very powerful person in the NBA. Don't even ever question that. So they're going to sit down and they're going to meet today as part of a counseling thing or assisting Draymond. That's the other thing. They're going to sit down and be like, well, maybe counseling will help. And I'm not saying counseling doesn't help people. It's needed, and a lot of people need. Is that really, like, that is it for Draymond Green? He has made a career out of doing this, and he needs to stop. I'd give him a good chunk, man. And especially now for the Warriors, you're not missing anything. Warriors are not the darling of the NBA anymore. I'd slap him with a good 30-game suspension. I really would. And is it equal things like of what John Morant was doing or what some of these other people have done? No, but it's still up there. Like, all right, I want to run through this list of people, the longest suspensions in NBA history. So, okay, Latrell Sprewell punching PJ Carlesimo. See, but like some of these guys are like minority owners. Ime Udoka for his off the field stuff, or off the court. So like Gilbert Arenas and Javaris Crittenden. Do you remember that? They got into a fight over a gambling debt with a gun in the locker room.
Nice.
So Arenas got 50 games and Javaris Crittenden got 38. Steven Jackson, 30 games for the malice at the Palace. Miles Bridges, 30 games for an off-the-court felony domestic violence. Kermit Washington in 1977 got 26 games because he punched Rudy Tomjanovich. See, like, okay, here's a list of 25 game suspensions. DeAndre Ayton used a diuretic. Wilson Chandler, performance-enhancing drug. Ja Morant, off the field, Instagram live stuff. I'm trying to find for like something that you. Okay, same thing. All these on the court ones are like you punched a player, you punched a coach. Jermaine O'Neal malice at the Palace. I want to find somebody. I really can't find one that's been like a repeated offender here. J.R. Smith with the Nuggets. He fought Nate Robinson during a fight. Nate Robinson, 10 games for fighting J.R. Smith. And a lot of these are all, again, missing games, like PD suspensions. There really is no precedent here for a guy like him. I really don't see one. Of all the people that have been suspended in the NBA over this kind of stuff. Multiple games, I think, is what he needs to get. And we'll see exactly how the NBA tries to proceed.
There was a scuffle last night between the Bucks and the Pacers. Giannis Antetokounmpo.
That's my ball. It's my ball.
Had a career high and Bucks franchise record 64-point performance, but the scuffle occurred as Giannis was trying to secure the game ball, obviously, to celebrate his accolade. However, the Pacers took the ball to their locker room, and Coach Rick Carlisle said afterwards they took the ball for rookie Oscar Shahibwe, excuse me on that, who scored his first official NBA points in the contest.
Sorry, Oscar, you don't get that basketball, bro. You don't get that ball. And I get where the Pacers were coming from, but like it's literally, it sounds like a fight that you got in the 4th grade up at the court. Because I think we've all been there before, or at least, I hope you were in childhood. You go up to the court, and usually it's you and your same group. Like I remember in high school, right? I had the same group of guys. We're all in the same fantasy league still. And we would text each other on a nice, Tuesday afternoon in the summer. Hey, the weather's nice. Let's go up to Hickory Ridge, and we're going to go play some basketball, right? So we'd all go up there. But everybody brought their own basketball. And everybody knew the best basketball to play with. Somebody had a better ball than everybody else. And that just goes back to somebody trying to steal that ball and go home. Like that, I don't know why. That's what I thought of, right? When you were growing up as a kid and you'd go up to shoot hoops, what happened? When you pick teams, which is also another huge thing, you back captain and then you pick this guy and go back and forth, right? But then you would all take the 3 or 4 basketballs that everybody would bring, and you would all decide which one bounced the best, which one shot the best. You know about the double rim.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, you had no hope about hitting
and the chain nets.
Chain nets. You've all been there before. That's a good childhood. That's a good childhood if you lived up doing that or grew up and lived doing that. But the Pacers were looking, and the thing is, could they plead ignorance? Well, we didn't know this. Like, they knew what they were doing. Now, Giannis, like, freaking out the way that he did, that was a little much. He was tweaking. I know, he was pissed. So the thing is, and I know, so the Guardians have this, and I think a lot of teams have this, and I know his name is Jeremy Fedor. I always want to say Chris Fedor. His name is Jeremy Fedor, and he spells his last name different. Do you know his job with the Guardians? He is one of his jobs. He is the historian. Basically his job is when somebody hits a milestone home run, he goes into the crowd to get that ball. Say Jose Ramirez hits 5 home runs in a game. He goes into the stand to find that baseball.
And they bargain with
the people, but then his job is to authenticate that baseball. So if they send it to the Hall of Fame or the Guardians can hold on to it, because that is a piece now of sports memorabilia history. Jerseys, bats, all that kind of stuff. I assume that basketball players don't do that. We had Danny Cunningham on a couple of weeks ago from Cleveland Magazine, and Danny talked about the LeBron Museum that's open now in Akron. And LeBron's got shoes and jerseys and all this kind of stuff because he held on to that stuff. But how do you authenticate it? To say, like, this is the actual jersey that LeBron wore in this Game 7 or this or that. I saw this with Kobe Bryant. And this was an auction item, a jersey he wore that went, I think, for millions of dollars. Do you know how they authenticated it, Ryan? They had a picture of Kobe in the game, and there was a thread just hanging out from the jersey stitching. and that's on the jersey. And they use that, I guess, as a high enough level of authentication to say that is the jersey that he wore for this game. So I'm not saying it's not important, because what Giannis was probably freaking out about was, dude, they take that ball back to the locker room and then they hand me another one. Like, no, I want that actual basketball. I'm surprised that there wasn't some person to come down from the NBA or from the team to say, no, we need this basketball. This is team history. We're holding on to this. Again, a scuffle over a ball. It seems so trivial. It's pretty stupid, I think, on like in totality on all of it. But I get it. He said it. It's franchise record. He wants the basketball. And also, they were at home. Shouldn't that be Milwaukee's basketball? They were at home. It's their ball. I know it's the NBA. Like, they have official league basketballs and everything, but still, like, it's their basketball. It's pretty stupid. It's pretty funny is actually what it is.
Well, much like all of us, Ben Roethlisberger shares a pretty pessimistic view of the current Pittsburgh Steelers franchise. He went on to say maybe the tradition of the Pittsburgh Steelers is done. Footballing in his podcast, Footballing with Ben Roethlisberger, he said you can't afford in the second half of games to burn silly timeouts and to not have them late in the game. He's referring to that Thursday night game between the Steelers and the Patriots. He says, to me, that's bad coaching. He goes on to criticize Mike Tomlin and the current state of the Steelers. Matt, I was a little bit surprised, I would say, to see him come out with that publicly. I don't know. He seemed like...
You really shouldn't be. Roethlisberger has never pulled any punches, man. He used to... He spoke his mind. He really did. I don't think so much in the Cowher years because it was earlier in his career. But later in his career, he made no bones about what he felt or what he thought needed to be said. I know he's got a podcast now, which is a pretty popular one there with the Yinzers, but... He's going to... Here's the thing. One of the things that it's very tiring to me is when you get the older group and they're going, oh, you know, how it was in my day. And it's a generational thing, and I'm not trying to crap on an older generation or anything like that. But, like, Roethlisberger, you know, it's not the same when I played, man. What are you going to do? You're going to go throw your varsity jacket on and go sit at the game Friday nights and tell everybody else how you won the state championship? Is that what we're signing up for right now, Ben? Is that what you're going to do? You're going to go down to the facility in your old Roethlisberger jersey and go, you guys don't know what it was like when I played, man. Did you know I won a Super Bowl? Look at me. What? Of course. Two. Sorry. Yeah.
Ben would correct
Could you imagine Ben Roethlisberger in like a Steelers Letterman's jacket? Sitting there with a flask and a brown paper bag, sitting there boozing it up, going, yeah, let me tell you guys how it was back in the day. You guys don't play football like I used to play it. They're like the dads in Varsity Blues, sitting there watching them practice, you know, sipping their little nip right there while they got it going on. Oh man, he used to be on my ass just like your son. Varsity Blues, great movie, by the way. Have you seen it?
I haven't.
What? You have not seen Bud Kilmer?
No.
Come on, man. James Vanderbeek?
No. Who is that?
Nah, I always want to say Lance Palmer, not the wrestler MMA fighter. Lance Harbor. Paul Walker? All right, dude. You've not seen Varsity Blues?
I have not.
Another movie to add to your list, by the way. No, like, for Roethlisberger, like, of course they're not the same. They're starting Kenny Pickett. And the Steelers are a little like they finally have hit their up-and-comings, right? Where in sports, it is all cyclical, man. It's all cyclical. What I mean by that is build a team up, you have your run, you suck, you rebuild, you go on your run, you rebuild. And that's it. And the problem is that the Browns were perpetually at the bottom of that. Rebuild, you never got it. It's not that far off that the Miami Dolphins were the laughing stock of the NFL. It was not that long ago that the San Francisco 49ers had jack squat nothing going for them. They've built it up. Now, yeah, the Steelers relatively suck. The Patriots suck. I mean, that's how it goes. So Roethlisberger, you're not telling me anything I don't know. Of course they're not playing to the historic level that the Pittsburgh Steelers used to play. They suck. And if you want to rip Mike Tomlin, which I know he's out of there. He's out of there. You want a hot take for the coaching carousel? Mike Tomlin's not going to be coaching the Steelers anymore. If I was him, I'd be like, dude, I'm out of here. I'm done with you people. And they keep ripping him, and they're ready for a change there. That's fine. But the Steelers finally are in that rebuild mode. And they got to go find a quarterback. I could have told you when they drafted Kenny Pickett he was not going to be the guy. There's no part of me that felt like he was going to be. So for Roethlisberger, dude, you're beating a dead horse. What is the point of bringing all this kind of stuff up? It's self-serving is what it is. And again, I just cannot get away from the vision of Ben Roethlisberger sitting in his Pittsburgh Steelers Letterman's jacket telling people how he won championships 20 years ago. A lot of people run into those people at the bar. You go back to your hometown, they're sitting at the end of the bar with a tall draft beer. So they're going, you know what I did back in high school 25 years ago? That's what Roethlisberger's doing right now. But he's got a podcast to promote, so power to him, I guess.
Alrighty, well, the last thing for the morning update, Matt, will you humor me and play GM for me real quick?
Sure. Absolutely.
I'm looking at 3 potential trades to the Reds as the now Guardians are potentially going to trade Shane Bieber. So the first one, I want you to tell me which one you would take. First one is a Reds trade for Shane Bieber in a 1-for-1 deal with Guardians, they write. Or we would give them Shane Bieber, they would give a shortstop Leonardo Balcazar. They write, there's an outside chance that Bieber could net a top 100 prospect in return, but considering the injury concerns after last season's IL stint, the Guardians are probably more likely to land a high upside prospect from the lower minor leagues in a 1-for-1 swap. Trade scenario number 2.
Okay.
The Reds secure Shane Bieber and send 2 power hitters to the Guardians. The Reds receive Shane Bieber. Our Guardians receive outfielders Reese Hins and Yerlin Confidant. They write, the Guardians need some power bats in their lineup, while the Reds would be unwilling to trade players like Christian Encarnacion Strand or Novelli Marte in exchange for Shane Bieber. There are some power-hitting outfielders in the team's minor league system that could pique Cleveland's interest. And trade scenario number 3, Reds send promising prospect and a pick to Guardians for Shane Bieber. Reds receive Shane Bieber. We receive outfielder Jay Allen II and a competitive balance pick. It says, but Allen alone wouldn't be enough, though the former three-sport athlete has unbelievable attributes, and he's just 21 years old.
Option 2, I guess. I don't know. I mean, that's the tough thing with trades in baseball. They don't work out for years down the road. Draft picks, you already got the first overall pick. I'm bracing for a really long summer. I'm bracing for a pretty long summer there with the Guardians. Ticket prices are always pretty cheap, though, so I'll get my son back down there for his second game, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Hey, man, here's what I know. Chris Antonetti and Mike Chernoff are smart guys, and I believe in them, and I think they're going to do what's best for this organization. So whatever of those trades that they think is best, that's fine. Yeah, at this point, trading Shane Bieber seems like the right thing. There's not many people on this team that I think are untouchable, except Jose Ramirez, just because that would send shell shocks throughout the fan base. People would be pissed. He's on a team-friendly deal. You're not getting rid of him. But truthfully, maybe Stephen Kwan, I'd listen to about anybody else. And that includes Bo Naylor, and that includes Josh Naylor. There's nobody on this team. Gavin Williams. I chalk it all up, man. Espino, all their picks, all their prospects. Do whatever's best. Really, do whatever is best for your team at this point. And I just am going to have to trust in Chernoff and Antonetti to make those right picks. And I think they will. And I really think they will. It really is tough for the fans because we still got to sit there, and it's a long season, as we know. And the thing is, the Cavs, which I do want to get back into here coming up, the Cavs don't have that, when the Cavs are good, they gloss things over until May or June. Now, Cavs exit on out in April, and you don't have anything going on for May, June, or July until Browns start in August. Might be a long summer here in the city of Cleveland. I'll just put it that way. Great stuff on the morning update. Let's dive back into the Cavs for tonight. When I think about the Celtics, Ryan, who's the Cavs' rival right now? Because I thought there was a world that it was going to be the Boston Celtics. Remember we beat them early in the season last year? Mm-hmm. And we knew the Celtics were going to be a good team. And by the way, people are already jumping, rightly so, that they are. Just go ahead and grave them as the Eastern Conference champion. They're going to the finals. I think it's probably a pretty good bet right now to make for the Celtics. But I kind of thought that there might be a world that the Cavs could ascend to be that thorn in the side of the Celtics. And I know the Bucks are really good, and here comes Orlando. But is it do anything for the Boston Celtics when we play? Is there something added, regardless of the fact of how good they are right now? Would you consider the Celtics one of the Cavs' rivals?
I want to, but I don't know if I can anymore, right? Because when we had LeBron, and it was always,
right.
They could never. And even yes, I'm talking about the Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown teams. But you go back even further than that, right? LeBron's always been a thorn in KG and Paul Pierce's side as well. You go back to the early mid-2000s. But there aren't many people on the Cavs team in LeBron's second stint. Maybe Tristan Thompson's really the only one, I believe. So it's like it's hard to keep that rivalry when a lot of those players don't have that history with them. And then as of late, the Celtics have no question been a better team than the Cavaliers. So I don't know if I can consider them real rival.
Here's the problem. I think it kind of relates back to the Cavs. I don't have one. The Knicks, you're upset with kind of how it played out. Like the Cavs, that comes back to who they are. They're not building any of this kind of stuff. Ryan, I'm sorry. I hate saying this. And we beat the Nuggets this year. We beat Miami. I don't know why I am in such a weird, bad place with the Cavs. And I said that every game I was just going to go into with the idea that they could win by 10 and that they could lose by 10 to literally everybody. I'm not handling it well. I don't. Oh, man. That's why I really shouldn't put anything on this game, but I feel like tonight is a must-win game. I really, for everything. If they lose this game tonight, it's only going to further the JB stuff and the rotations and the questions surrounding this team. I need them to snap us out. I feel like I'm in a funk. The Cavs are in a funk right now, and they need to get snapped out. And they had that opportunity to do it tonight with a win against the Celtics. But it almost is like, do you have any juice for this game? That's kind of the same thing I'm getting to with the rivalry thing. Like, I don't really feel any juice for this game. Maybe it's because I don't think the Cavs are playing all that well. I don't know, man. I don't know. They're just in such a weird spot right now. And especially with how they are on the court. Like tonight with our boost, which is up at Tipico, you can bet on that. Like, do you feel real confident that they're going to be able to match up with the Celtics? I feel like Tuesday night was maybe their best shot. Now, we're going to take them to cover that 9. I think I have some places that it's at 8 already. So we got it at +9, right?
Yeah.
All right, there you go. So you just got to assume the Cavs are not going to lose by double digits again. Can they come out and do what they did on Tuesday and get out to a 20-7 lead to start the game? And then hopefully, here's, I guess, the positive thing for me. I don't know if Boston can do what they did on Tuesday. Like, they were really, really good from behind the arc, like unconscious a little bit. And I feel like the Cavs got them napping because they hadn't played in 4 days. Talking about the Celtics. They had been off. And I think maybe you caught them. Unfortunately, I don't think you're getting that this week. I don't think you're going to be able to, or this week, I'm sorry, tonight. I don't think you're going to be able to catch them again tonight. Like, they're going to be full on. They're going to be watching this tonight. And there's a point, too, for the Celtics of the that's what I'm looking for. The confidence that they build up. Like, dude, we let them get out to that lead. We came storming back. The Celtics have kind of what I want the Cavs. They feel like they can play with any team. And certainly, how could they not? They're the best team in the NBA. But I want the Cavs to start to build a little bit where they have the confidence that they can play and potentially beat anybody. And is that too early for me to do that? Is that me putting too much on this team? If we truly believe that they're still a top 4 seed in the NBA, the expectations that you had to start the season, then that statement would be you feel like they can beat anybody, but I just don't have that feeling for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, I don't either, and you've given no reason to think that they can do that.
Oh, they've not afforded themselves that.
Yeah.
No, I 100% agree with that.
And it seems like, earlier last year, and part of it comes with that expectation because we saw how good this Cavs team can be, especially on the defensive side of the ball. But yeah, it seems like we've almost moved in the wrong direction. Like we've moved down a tier rather than thinking we're going to improve and really cement ourselves into that consistent top 3-4 seed in the East. But now it seems like we're more middle of the pack. Hopefully it's going to stall there and when we'll work our way back up. But for now, it feels like middle of the pack is kind of our ceiling at this point in the season.
And the thing is, you got who you got. We did that yesterday about the trade deadline, which is still 2 months away. you have got to look at the players on this team to say they're the ones that have to fix it. Now, the thing is, how much does Evan Mobley being out impact this? It's not Donovan Mitchell. It's not Darius Garland. But Evan Mobley's your third most important player on this team, and he's out. He's your best defensive player. He's out. Are we dismissing that too quickly? Are we sitting here and getting angry and upset about the Cavs when they say, dude, we're missing Evan Mobley?
Yeah, but at the same time, great teams find a way to win regardless.
True. Is there all a fear that they're slipping behind too? And I say that because you're like, man, there's so many games to go, but these games all count, man. And you sit here right now. I guess, you know what? Here's the crazy thing. That we are in the 9th. Oh, God. We're in the play-in right now. We're in the 9th seed. But that the top 8 teams in the Eastern Conference all separated by 4.5 games. That's not crazy. Nobody's like running away with it. And it's early enough in the season. You're what, 23, 24 games in?
And I mean, you go back to last year, right? The NBA is a real streaky league in the sense of you can see, unless you have a team like that 73 and 8 or 9 Warriors, unless you have like an insanely historic team like that, it's not like the NFL, kind of where you like
sure.
It's definitely more streaky, I feel like. And then you look last year, in like through a quarter way of the season, the number 1 seed in the West was like the Jazz, and they didn't even make the playoffs.
Here's the crazy thing. Here's what I think about Boston too, because they're out to this and they are undefeated at home and all that kind of stuff. What I see out of Boston, I've said this about the 49ers. And I said that about Miami, the Dolphins, for a little bit, but I'm going to say this about the Celtics. They seem to be on a mission. You know what I mean? When they lost, I cannot believe that they did. But when they lost in the Eastern Conference Finals to the Heat, boy. That is something that I think has supremely motivated them. And they're a scary team for that reason. They make the big trade this offseason. They bring in Drew Holiday. They move on from Marcus Smart, Robert Williams. Derek White has played himself to an all-star level at this point now with Boston. They seem to be a really scary team. A team that you might, again, if I was a bet man, which I am, I think Celtics going to win the East. That's where it's at. Even with Milwaukee, the Celtics really just seem to be on a mission. So we'll see if we can get them tonight. I just want them to cover tonight. And then also Donovan to shoot a little bit and get some assists. Darius Garland's assist numbers have been up.
Yeah, the 6 should be good.
I feel good about our. Is it up? Let's check in the break. Let's do this. Catch a break. We'll come back. We'll do time up. We'll check to see if our Tipico boost is up. Of course, use that big play code BigPlay100 when you sign up. We'll check all that. Let's get to time up. Some movies. We got it next. All right, let's jump into timeout. 14th of December, the date. We head back 3 years ago today because we all remember this game, right? Browns, Sunday Night Football, Ravens.
Is that the poop game? I'll take that as a yes. Bro really said he was cramping. He had he was running with the choppiest steps.
Everybody. Like, oh, we've seen that walk before. You're right.
We need to tweet that 3 years ago, the poop game.
He had cramps, man. I don't know what to tell you. You didn't say they were in his legs. Well, stomach cramp.
Yeah.
I get it. Oh, yeah. We had there before. And the unfortunate part of that was we still lost 47-42. The Browns fall to the Ravens on Thursday Night Football. 3 years ago today. Of course, yes, we know Lamar Jackson had to leave that game and came back in. Baker Mayfield threw for 343 yards in this game. The issue was Lamar on the ground. He rushed for 124 and 2 touchdowns. This was pretty much a back-and-forth game as it went. Dude, it was 21-14 at half. It was 34-20 at the end of the third quarter. The Browns had 3 fourth-quarter touchdowns. Hey, can I tell you, this is how the fourth quarter went. So the fourth quarter started, the Ravens up 34-20. Browns touchdown, Rashad Higgins from Baker Mayfield got the 2-point conversion to DPJ, 34-28. Baker Mayfield, 5-yard touchdown run. Browns take the lead, 35-34. Marquise Hollywood Brown with 1:50 to go, 44-yard touchdown pass, 42-35. With a minute to go, Kareem Hunt, 22-yard touchdown pass from Baker, 42 all. And then Justin Tucker, a 55-yard field goal with 2 seconds to play. That made it 45-42, and then Jarvis Landry got pushed out of bounds in the end zone for a safety. But nonetheless, you had 4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter alone between the two teams and a field goal for the Ravens to get that win. But yes, Lamar had to leave and came back in the game.
I'm going to tweet about that, Matt.
You can. That's why I love doing Time Hop, because it takes people back. They remember that game. You got cramps. I don't know what to tell you. All right, we go back this day, 2014. Browns get smoked by the Bengals in this one. 30-0. Johnny Manziel, 80 yards and 2 interceptions. Andy Dalton had an interception in that game, but really for the Bengals, 2 touchdowns from Jeremy Hill and 1 from Rex Burkhead on the ground. Your leading receiver in that game? Josh Gordon. So the Browns fall this day, 2014. This day, 1947, the Browns beat the New York Yankees. Not that team, not that Yankees, the other one. 14-3 in the second ever AAFC championship game. That was the second straight title for the Cleveland Browns. This day, 1947. Also, this day, 1947, Bill France sat down with other influential figures to discuss the future creation of what league, Ryan?
Can you repeat that?
Bill France, this day 1947, sat down with other influential figures to discuss the future of this particular sport and then create what league?
In 47.
47, and Bill France.
Bill France. Is it popular in America?
Yes. Still around, still extremely popular. Obviously, it's not football, it's not baseball, it's not basketball, it's not hockey.
Oh, it's not hockey. Okay, that's
No.
what I was gonna say. The MLS?
No, good guess. Good guess.
The
Some people don't call this a sport. I think it's a sport, but
that was terrible timing because right before you said that, I was about to say the WNBA.
no. WNBA was much later. It only came around in the 90s.
I have no idea.
They sat down to discuss the future of stock car racing,
Oh,
which would
okay,
become NASCAR just 2 months later, this day 1947. This day 1911, Roald Amundsen became the first ever person to reach the South Pole. He was in a race against Englishman Robert F. Scott. It took Amundsen 2 months from leaving his camp to reach the South Pole. That is insane. In 1911, probably with nothing but a fur coat, leaves a camp to go walk across sheets of ice to make the South Pole. Like, how do you do that? How did they do that in 1911? I have no idea. This day, 1909, the final brick of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway was placed there. There were 3.2 million bricks. Of course, there's only a yard of them now, the brick yard. But the final brick at Indianapolis was placed this day, 1909. I got 4 Heismans for you. Danny Werfel, Florida, this day, 1996. Carson Palmer, USC, this day, 2002. Famous Jameis, this day 2013, and this day 2019, one Mr. Joe Burrow. All won Heisman's this day in history. Let me scroll down here. Very happy birthday goes to Craig Biggio, Kyle Shanahan, former Cleveland Brown, Randy Starks, former Ohio State Buckeye Nate Ebner, DK Metcalf, Offset, Vanessa Hudgens, and Cliff Williams, the bassist for what band, Ryan? AC/DC's the answer to that.
I would have never gotten that.
Fair enough. All right. 5.
Oh, hell yeah.
5 in the television and movie side of things for you today, young Ryan. We begin. All right. A movie I have seen that does not help you at all, but here we are. All right. This day, 2018. My first hint would be this spawned a viral trend that was extremely dangerous and idiotic.
Is it? I'm just trying to think of all those stupid trends. Like, I'm thinking of, like, the cinnamon challenge. Like,
It wasn't Tide Pods.
eating Tide Pods.
No, this spawned from the movie, because obviously this was a part of the movie, this day 2018, an extremely dangerous and idiotic viral trend.
There's just so many of those nowadays.
I know. That's a tough one.
Do you have any other clues?
Yeah, another clue.
Yeah.
The main character. So first off, in this movie, nobody had last names. They did not give anybody last names in this movie. And the main character. Okay, let me explain it this way. The main character. There were 2 little kids that were a part of this movie, and all she would ever call them was boy and girl. And at the
Bird Box.
Bird Box is correct. So you remember the Bird Box trend where these idiots were in their car driving on blindfold?
That was a thing?
Yeah, you don't remember that?
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
What is
The
happening?
Bird Box blindfold challenge. In Australia, Netflix originally partnered with 4 Twitch streamers in performing what they called the Bird Box Challenge, in which they would play some popular video games while blindfolded. However, the challenge became widely mimicked on the internet by individuals wearing blindfolds while trying to do ordinary activities, causing injuries to some, including driving their car. Netflix released several messages over social media advising people to not undertake the challenge or hurt themselves. Nevertheless, in January of 2019, a 17-year-old girl took part in a blindfold challenge, drove into oncoming traffic, crashed her car, prompting state police to issue the same warning as Netflix did. YouTube responded by issuing an update into their guidelines, community guidelines, and warning content creators that if they do any of that stuff, it will be removed from their platform. You don't remember the Bird Box Challenge?
No, I don't.
You've seen the movie, right? They had to blindfold themselves.
Yeah.
This entity that was, forcing everybody to kill each other or kill themselves or whatever it was. But yeah, the Bird Box blindfold challenge. Man, what a time that was. This day, 2018. All right, next up, this day, 2007. My hint is, and this again, I don't think you're going to be able to get it, but this is one of the worst cinematic deaths in history.
In terms of like emotionally?
Emotionally, this still wrecks me to this day. 2007.
2007. It's funny when you said that. Like the first one I thought was like Marley and Me, but I know people were torn up about that.
You're not that far off.
In the sense of it's an animal.
Yes.
2007.
Correct.
No.
Okay, your next hint is that this was a remake. So this was a movie based on a series of novels, The Last Man on Earth, but also a movie and a novel called The Omega Man. And this was a movie that was made in 1971 with Charlton Heston as the lead. This movie was a straight remake of Omega Man. And another hint, apparently there is a sequel in development for this movie. Does any of that help you?
I don't think so.
Not really? Okay.
No.
I don't want to give away the actor because it's going to...
An emotional death, and it's an animal.
Yes.
Is it a good movie?
I like it. I think it's a very good movie. It's not a funny movie.
Can I get the animal, or does that give it away?
It's a dog. It's a dog, just like Marley and Me.
I don't know.
I'll give you the character's name.
Okay.
Dr. Robert Neville.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah. Will Smith.
Oh, I Am Legend.
I Am Legend is correct. I Am Legend is correct.
Right. You're so right.
Wrecked.
You're so
absolutely
right. Yes.
wrecked.
You're so right.
When Sam's got to go. Wrecked. Horrible. Awful.
Because he has to kill him.
He's got to take it out. And then you find the kind of a little plot twist is that Sam was a girl. Sam was a girl dog. And again, the daughter handing the puppy over the post. Great apocalyptic film.
Yes,
I mean, it's a great movie.
Amazing.
So do you know that there were actually two different endings?
I did know that.
So then the one was that the Dark Seekers came in, and obviously, spoiler alert, he jumps at him with the grenade. But the alternate ending was that he actually is able to talk the Dark Seeker down, and he lets them leave, and then they all go to the, There's something about the butterfly tattoo or something like that with the mate and all that kind of stuff. Because here's the thing, they are working on a sequel. So to do the sequel, they have to say that Robert Neville, like Will Smith, survived that. But Michael B. Jordan is supposed to be in it. Sign me up for that movie. I'll watch that movie any day of the week.
Absolutely.
I'm in for that. I Am Legend. Great flick.
Yeah, the scene with the mannequin when he thinks it moves.
No! Yeah. No! It's so bad. And then they set the trap for him. Can I add, again, I'm sure that there was a mental toll to be taken, but, how did you not know that wasn't a trap?
Yeah.
It is what it is. It's just poor Sam, man. Poor Sam. So, yes, I Am Legend. I'll give you 2 for 2 here. We'll see how it goes.
I'll take it.
All right, this day, 1987, this film spawned 2 sequels. There's your first one. Including an animated series. And I want to... Wait. I got to make sure that this is not the animated series. No, I'm sorry. It was the animated series. Okay, so there's your hint. There's a 3-movie arc of this same group of people that started an animated series that began this day, 1987. It was originally on syndication before going to CBS. It revolves around 4 brothers who live in New York City and really like pizza.
This is animated?
Yeah. The movies are live action. And I will tell you that they have remade these movies several times over, including one that just came out, and they all suck compared to the ones in the 80s and the 90s. the four brothers all have a commonality with their name. They were all.
Oh my God. I hate you. Teenage Mutant Ninja
Turtles is correct. What is the commonality, Ryan, between the four names of the four brothers?
They're all Renaissance.
That is correct.
artists.
Donatello, Raphael, Leonardo, and Michelangelo. Yes. Have you seen the original 87?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
The new one with Seth Rogen, was it any good?
I mean, here's the thing. I go back to the two Michael Bay ones, and I'm a child of the 90s. I love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. My brother-in-law loves the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right?
Who's your favorite?
I always gravitated towards Donatello for some reason. Leonardo made sense because, like, I have 5 brothers, so we'd all play Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Leonardo was seen as the oldest one. I am the oldest one, but I always liked Donatello. So, the movie, have you seen the live action in the 90s? So those ones, they had actual actors in real suits.
Okay.
And it was awesome. Again, movies that were made 30 years ago are better than the ones they're making now. Then they released the Will Arnett and the MGK's wife.
Megan Fox.
They released those ones. Come on.
Was Will Arnett in that?
Yeah, he played like the bumbling news reporter guy friend or
really?
whatever. And those ones are they're cartoons, but give me some live action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The one from the 80s and the 90s are so good. So the second one, which I think might even be a little better than the first one. So you know Splinter and Shredder and all that other kind of stuff, right? So in the second one, do you know who Rocksteady and Bebop are? They're like the big adversary guys in Krang.
No.
No? Really? Okay. So here's the interesting thing. The two guys that created Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they would not release Rocksteady and Bebop to be made in the second movie, so they had to create their own 2 new characters. That's got like a token Reza. Watch them. Are they streaming anywhere? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, 1987. Watch show. You have Paramount Plus?
I don't.
God damn it. It's on
It's like
there.
one of the ones I don't have.
Let me see if I can get you the movies here. They're on Sling and Paramount Plus. They're great. They're great movies. They're great. So again, the film Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. All right, this day, 1977, a film had its national release this day. God, this one is so hard because there's an iconic musical element to this movie, which I guess would give it away. But I will start by saying that Matt Hooper from Jaws is an electrical lineman in Indiana, while his wife, who was in Slapshot and The Mom and Harry and the Hendersons, deal with a force outside of this world. Any guess?
Poltergeist?
No.
Deal with the force outside this world.
Force from outside of this world.
Is it like an alien movie?
Yes. They would communicate by playing. There was there's like a very specific tone that they would play to communicate with these aliens. Steven Spielberg, Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
I've heard of it.
Heard of it? Wouldn't have got it. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And then the final one, this day, 1951. This goes way back in your time, but nonetheless, a TV show that then spawned a 1987 film with Tom Hanks and Dan Aykroyd, which is not a bad movie. But the TV show started this day, 51, following Sergeant Joe Friday. Sergeant Joe Friday, played by Jack Webb, was the star of what television series?
No idea.
Dragnet. You ever heard of Dragnet?
I have not heard of
It's
Dragnet.
an older one, the movie with Hanks and
Okay.
Dan Aykroyd. Not great, but that's okay. All right, so pretty full day today. Bird Box, I Am Legend, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the television series, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and Dragnet on TV all this day in history. You want to get to our Thursday night bets here on Tipico? Let's do it. Here we go. Man, what a crap game we have. But nonetheless, I guess a wager to be had tonight is you have the Las Vegas Raiders taking on the LA Chargers. This game is in Vegas. Dude, there's an over-under in this game of 34. You have a 3-point spread. It's pretty much held. Well, the Chargers were favored. Then Justin Herbert went out. Now it's flipped. Keenan Allen is out. It's all on the side of the Vegas Raiders right now. They're playing crappy. But I'll start with the Chargers. They're 1-4 against the spread their last 5 games. 4-2 though against the spread their last 6 games against the Raiders. And the Chargers 4-2 straight up in their last 6 games against the Las Vegas Raiders. The Chargers are an impressive 13-7 against the spread their last 20 games on the road against the Raiders in their matchup there. You flip it over for Vegas, nothing's really going well. 2-5 straight up in their last 7. As I mentioned, they have not played the Chargers all that well. The under, even at 34.5, which I don't like, does not seem to be the play because the under has hit 7 out of the Raiders' last 8 home games, 4 out of the last 5 games between the Raiders and the Chargers, and the under has hit 10 out of the last 11 games for the Chargers.
Some bad football.
But the thing is, it's 34.5. I can't, can I? You got Easton Stick. By the way, the Raiders might go back to Jimmy G in this game. You read that this week? They might not start Aiden O'Connell. Quad injury for Josh Jacobs. He might not play in this game either. I don't know, right? Take your pick. 3.
I'm not betting the Chargers. Like, I refuse.
I'll take the. I'm with you. Let's take the Raiders.
Wow.
Let's take the Raiders.
Okay, you're learning.
I'm fine. I'm learning.
You're
I finally
learning.
am. I'll take the Raiders in this one. I'm going to place that bet before I forget. Give me the Raiders all day long on this one. I'm finally getting off. I finally. It's like I went to the 12-stepper. Hi, I'm Matt. Hi, Matt. I have a problem betting on the LA Chargers. That's okay. You'll find out. You'll find the light. You'll come through this, be better for it. Step number 1, stop betting on the LA Chargers. Okay. Step 1, stop betting on the LA Chargers. I'll take the Raiders tonight in what should be a pretty crappy game. Dude, every trend screams the under, and I don't know if I could do it at 34.5. What do you think?
So that's 17 points about. I don't know, Matt.
Here, okay, the easiest, and sometimes it's pretty much what what you look to. You're right. I need 5 total touchdowns in this game.
That seems like a lot then.
Doesn't it? If I ask for 5 touchdowns in this game, is that too much? So I guess the under maybe would be it. I don't know. We'll see. All right, Cavs are in action tonight. Our boost is up. Tipico, folks. Download the app and use that code BIGPLAY100, and you can sign up. Bet $25 with that code when you sign up, and you get $100 in bonus bets. And Ryan, you can place one of those on our very own boost here on Tipico for this game. So here's the 3-leg boost we have for tonight. Donovan Mitchell, 35-plus points, rebounds, and assists. Darius Garland, 6 or more assists, and the Cavs plus 9.5. Ryan, they boost that up to plus 300 for us.
Thank you very much, Tipico.
2 boosts on it on that. We're in. I'm putting my wager on that right now. We're in. All right, let's get to our bracket of the week. It is your favorite appetizer. Buffalo chicken dip advancing, as rightly so. Did we get it done? Yes! Yeah. Loaded nachos. That was our pick right there. I love it.
And we did have to kick out chicken wings.
We did.
I don't want any hate. We had to. It's unfair. So final format, mozzarella sticks, chips and guac / queso, buffalo chicken dip, which I have an eerie feeling might come out on top.
Oh, I'm feeling mozz sticks.
And then loaded nachos.
I'm feeling mozz sticks here.
So that'll go out after the show.
All right, tweet it, vote on it, at Matt Fontana Show. Drop us a follow there, and that's exactly where we're going to be. All right, Browns tomorrow. We'll have Football Friday. Sonny's going to join us again for all of our picks on the weekend. We'll get his thoughts on the college football as well, just because we got to place our bets coming up, too, for the college football playoff. We got bowl games, do we not, around the corner? Well, not this weekend, but they got to be close, right?
Yeah, they're
bowl
close.
Schedule.
There's a couple games this weekend.
Are there?
Yeah, I believe, but not very exciting.
Well, no. The Mayo Bowl and all that crap. What's today? Oh, my God, Saturday.
Yeah.
Myrtle Beach Bowl, the Cricket Celebration Bowl, the R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl, the Avocados from Mexico Cure Bowl, the Isleta New Mexico Bowl, the LA Bowl, and the Radiance Technology Independence Bowl. You got college football the live long day Saturday.
I can't wait till we get the Big Play Bowl. Like Barstool
When's that
does
happening?
It.
Yeah, when do we get that?
A couple years.
All right, well, we'll work on that. Great stuff. Don't go anywhere. Chico comes your way next from 12 to 2. Appreciate everybody joining us this morning right here on Big Play. For Ryan Tyler, I'm Matt Fontana, and as always, take it easy.